Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope we're doing great today. Happy Saturday. A lot of college football action on the board today, guys. So be sure to like and subscribe. Support the channel, guys. Go ahead and sign up with BroThrow. Check out all my links in the description below to get in on the action. And yeah, we'll hop in it. Monster slate today. Starting with Navy versus UCF. This is an 11 a.m. game, so be on the lookout for that. A very early game. UCF opening up as a 15.5 point home favorite with the over/under at 53. Navy coming into this 3-7, 6-4 covering the spread. UCF 8-2, 7-3 covering the spread. Head-to-head, UCF is 2-1. Navy, they're on a 2-game losing streak, coming off a tough Notre Dame game. Tough game. They could have definitely got that one. UCF, they're on a 3-game winning streak, playing good. You know, they're coming off a Tulane win, and which is a big win for them. And yeah, I'm liking UCF at home, and 12-1 at home. Very good home team from UCF here. Maybe tease that spread a little bit. I don't know. I'm not in love with the 15.5. Get that spread a little lower if you spread bet. But we'll take UCF at home. Throw them in your money line parlays, and then we'll take a shot at that 15.5 too. Next matchup, we got Ohio State versus Maryland. Ohio State opening up as a 27-point road favorite with the over/under at 62.5. Ohio State coming into this matchup 10-0, 5-4-1 covering the spread. Maryland 6-4, 4-6 covering the spread. Head-to-head, Ohio State is 7-0. 5-2 covering the spread in those matchups. Ohio State coming off a big Indiana win. Maryland on a 2-game losing streak, coming off a 30-0 loss against Penn State. Yeah, if they can score against Penn State, it's going to be tough for them against Ohio State here. Give me Ohio State minus 27, and I don't know, throw them in your 15-team parlays because they're like minus 5,000. Next matchup, we got Penn State versus Rutgers. Penn State opening up as a 19-point road favorite with the over/under at 45. Penn State coming into this matchup 8-2, 7-3 covering the spread. Rutgers 4-6, 5-4-1 covering the spread. Head-to-head, Penn State is 8-0, dominant head-to-head here. Penn State, coming off that 30-0 win against Maryland. Rutgers, they're on a 3-game losing streak. Against the good teams, they've been getting destroyed, and I don't think it's going to be any different here against this Penn State team. Give me Penn State minus 19 and throw them in your money line parlays on the road. Next matchup, we got Cincinnati versus Temple. Cincinnati opening up as a 17-point road favorite with the over/under at 51. Cincinnati coming into this matchup 8-2, 2-7-1 covering the spread. Temple 3-7, 7-3 covering the spread. Head-to-head, Cincinnati is 6-4. Cincinnati on a 2-game winning streak. I mean, they're playing good football here. Temple not playing good. They did put up some points against Houston here, but I just do not love this Temple team here. 0-5 covering the spread right now. I'll take Cincinnati minus 17. Throw them in your money line parlays. Next matchup, we got Georgia Tech versus North Carolina. North Carolina opening up as a 21-point home favorite with the over/under at 63. Georgia Tech coming into this matchup 4-6, 4-6 covering the spread. North Carolina 9-1, 5-4-1 covering the spread. Head-to-head, Georgia Tech is 6-4, so they've been the better head-to-head team here, but yeah, not a great Georgia Tech team here this season, coming off a 35-14 loss against Miami. I mean, against the good teams, Florida State, they got beat 41-16. That's really the only good team they've really played so far. They did lose 42-0 against Mississippi. UNC, I mean, yeah, big winning streak, coming off a nice 2-point win against Wake Forest. Yeah, I mean, this North Carolina team's for real. They really are. Kind of getting disrespected in the polls. All they've done is just win. Playing great at home. They put up a lot of points. They got a great quarterback. Give me North Carolina minus 20.5 and money. Throw them in your money line parlays at home. Next matchup, we got Tennessee versus South Carolina. Tennessee opening up as a 22.5-point road favorite with the over/under at 66. Tennessee coming into this matchup 9-1, 8-2 covering the spread. South Carolina 6-4, 5-5 covering the spread. Head-to-head, Tennessee is 6-4 in their last 10. Tennessee, they're coming off a nice 66-24 win against Missouri. South Carolina, they're coming off a bad Florida loss. There's a bad South Carolina team up against a Tennessee team that's great. Going to put up a lot of points. Give me Tennessee minus 22.5. Throw them in your money line parlays on the road. Next matchup, we got Oklahoma State versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma opening up as a 7-point home favorite with the over-under at 67. Oklahoma State coming into this matchup 7-3, 6-4 covering the spread. Oklahoma 5-5, 3-7 covering the spread. Head-to-head, Oklahoma is 8-2, so it's a much better head-to-head team here. Oklahoma State coming off an Iowa State win. Oklahoma on a 2-game losing streak. Been a tough 2 games here. Not a matchup I'm in love with. I just don't trust this Oklahoma State team. They really have. These losses they've had, they've been horrible. They're 1-8 on the road against Oklahoma. 1-6 in their last 7 against Oklahoma here. I think it's a good spot for Oklahoma at home in a rivalry game. Give me Oklahoma minus 6.5 and money line at home. Next matchup, we got Ole Miss versus Arkansas. Ole Miss opening up as a 2-point road favorite with the over-under at 65.5. Ole Miss coming into this matchup 8-2, 4-5-1 covering the spread. Arkansas 5-5, 5-5 covering the spread. Head-to-head, both teams have won 5 out of the last 10 matchups. Ole Miss coming off a tough 6-point Bama loss. Arkansas, they're in a 2-game losing streak, coming off a hard-fought, tough LSU loss. Arkansas's D is horrible. They're going to give up. They're coming off a nice LSU game, but Ole Miss, man, they really should be able to throw all over them and run all over this defense. A lot more. It's more meaningful for Ole Miss than it is for Arkansas here, so I'll take Ole Miss money line -2 on the road. Next matchup, we got Colorado versus Washington. Washington opening up as a 30.5-point home favorite with the over-under at 62.5. Colorado coming into this matchup 1-9, 2-8 covering the spread. Washington 8-2, 5-5 covering the spread. Head-to-head, Washington is 8-2 in their last 10. Been pretty dominant against Colorado. This is a very bad Colorado team. 1-9 in their last 10 against the good teams. Coming off a 55-17 loss against USC. Lost 49-10 at Oregon. Yeah, the good teams have just been murdering them, and Washington is a good team on a 4-game winning streak, coming off a nice Oregon win. Yeah, we're rolling with Washington minus 30.5 and money line. Throw them in your money line parlays if it's possible at home. Next matchup, we got UAB versus LSU. LSU opening up as a 15-point home favorite with the over-under at 50.5. UAB coming into this matchup 5-5, 4-6 covering the spread. LSU 8-2, 6-4 covering the spread. Head-to-head, both teams, they've only played twice. Both teams splitting a win. UAB coming off a North Texas win. LSU on a 4-game winning streak, coming off an Arkansas win. And it's going to be tough for UAB to play up in LSU here in Death Valley. And 0-5 on the road, 0-5 covering against the SEC. I think a good spot for LSU. Coming off a tough Arkansas game, only put up 13 points. Did get the win. Should be able to put up a lot of points against UAB here. I'm going to take LSU minus 15 and money line at home. Next matchup, we got Utah versus Oregon. Utah opening up as a 2-point road favorite with the over-under at 60. Utah coming into this matchup 8-2, 6-4 covering the spread. Oregon 8-2, 7-3 covering the spread. Head-to-head, Oregon is 6-4. Utah on a 4-game winning streak here. Oregon coming off that tough Washington loss. That was unfortunate here. Kind of ruined their playoff hopes. It's going to be a battle here. It really is. And I'm going to buy 1.5. I'm taking Oregon plus 3.5 at home. It's probably going to be a close game, and it's going to be a battle. Next matchup, we got USC versus UCLA. USC opening up as a 2-point road favorite with the over-under at 76.5. USC coming into this matchup 9-1, 6-4 covering the spread. UCLA 8-2, 6-4 covering the spread. USC, on a 3-game winning streak, coming off a big Colorado win. Yeah, UCLA coming off an Arizona loss. I mean, that kind of ruined their season a bit there. Tough loss for UCLA. Great matchup here. Going to be a classic battle. And I'm liking USC here. I think there's more on the line for USC than there is for UCLA because I think their playoff hopes are done. And I like USC -2 and money line on the road. Next matchup, we got Illinois versus Michigan. Michigan opening up as a 17.5 point home favorite with the over/under at 41.5. Illinois coming into this matchup 7-3, 6-4 covering the spread. Michigan 10-0, 6-3-1 covering the spread. Head to head, Michigan is 8-2. They've been dominant head to head here. Illinois on a 2-game losing streak, coming off a tough Purdue loss. Michigan undefeated, coming off a big Nebraska win. I mean, yeah, not much to say about this Michigan team. I mean, they come in, play elite defense, run the ball. Blake Corum's elite, probably the best running back in the league. I mean, just dominant. Illinois 0-5 against Michigan. 17.5 points. Two ranked teams that love to run the ball. You know, I love Michigan at home. I'm not in love with that 17.5. Man, I think Illinois keeps it close here. I think this is definitely going to be a tougher test for Michigan for sure. And throw Michigan in your money line parlays, but man, I'm going to take a shot with Illinois plus 17.5. I just have some feeling it's going to be a closer game than we think here. Next matchup, we got Louisiana Lafayette versus Florida State. Florida State opening up as a 24-point home favorite with the over/under at 52. Lafayette coming into this matchup 5-5, 6-4 covering the spread. Florida State 7-3, 7-3 covering the spread. Head-to-head, don't see any head-to-head stats. I guess they have not played each other. Lafayette coming off a Georgia Southern win. Florida State on a 3-game winning streak, coming off a big, nice Syracuse win. Back-to-back games, they've held they've held the teams to 3 points, holding Miami and Syracuse to 3 points. This is a very good defense, very good offense. Jordan Travis playing great football at quarterback here, and Florida State 5-0 against the Sun Belt, 4-1 covering in their last 5. Yeah, I love Florida State here. I mean, they're playing really good football here, playing just amazing defense here. I mean, we'll see how long they can hold people to 3. I don't think that'll last that long, but not in love with the spread. I think I like Florida State more if you tease it, get it around 16, 17, or do a 13-point teaser, get a minus like 11 or so. That'd be great, but throw Florida State in your big money line parlays and take a shot with that minus 24 the way that defense has been playing. Next matchup, we got TCU versus Baylor. TCU opening up as a 2.5-point road favorite with the over/under at 57. TCU coming into this matchup 10-0, 8-1-1 covering the spread. Baylor 6-4, 6-4 covering the spread. Head to head, TCU is 7-3. At TCU undefeated. I mean, they just continue to get it done, coming off a big Texas win. One, they were underdogs. No one believed in them last week, and they've just, been getting wins all season. Baylor coming off a horrible Kansas State loss, losing 31-3. Hopefully, even riding this TCU streak here, man. I mean, it's getting towards the end of the season. I want to see them make the playoffs. They'd be fun to watch here. They're 6-1 against Baylor, so they've been good against Baylor. Undefeated. We're riding that streak. We're taking TCU minus 2.5 and money line on the road. Next matchup, we got Kansas State versus West Virginia. Kansas State opening up as an 8-point road favorite with the over/under at 54.5. Kansas State coming into this matchup 7-3, 6-3-1 covering the spread. West Virginia 4-6, 5-5 covering the spread. Head to head, both teams are 5-5 in their last matchups. Kansas State coming off a big Baylor win. West Virginia coming off a big Oklahoma win, upset win for them. And I like Kansas State here. It's going to be tough for West Virginia. Kansas State's going to run the ball and, playing good football here. I like Kansas State -8 and money line on the road. I just think they're going to be too much of a task for this West Virginia team. Next matchup, we got Oregon State versus Arizona State. Oregon State opening up as a 7-point road favorite with the over/under at 54. Oregon State coming into this matchup 7-3, 8-2 covering the spread. Arizona State 3-7, 4-6 covering the spread. Head to head, both teams have won 5 out of the last 10 matchups. Oregon State coming off a 38-10 win against Cal. Arizona State on a 2-game losing streak. They're going to be tough against Oregon State, Oregon State here. 8-3 covering against Arizona State. And the better head-to-head team. Oregon State, very solid team here. We'll take Oregon State minus 6.5 and money line on the road. Next matchup, we got Boston College versus Notre Dame. Notre Dame opening up as a 20.5 point home favorite with the over/under at 42.5. Boston College coming into this matchup 3-7, 3-7 covering the spread. Notre Dame 7-3, 5-5 covering the spread. Head-to-head, Notre Dame is 8-2. I mean, they've been dominant head-to-head here. Boston College coming off a 1-point NC State win. Notre Dame, they're on a 4-game winning streak right now, coming off a close Navy win. It's going to be tough for Boston College on the road, the way they played 0-8 against Notre Dame. I just don't see it happening here. I think that defense will show out. It's going to be tough for Boston College. Give me Notre Dame minus 20.5. Throw them in your money line parlays at home. Next matchup, we got Georgia versus Kentucky. Georgia opening up as a 22.5 point road favorite with the over/under at 47.5. Georgia coming into this matchup 10-0, 6-4 covering the spread. Kentucky 6-4, 6-4 covering the spread. Head-to-head, Georgia is 10-0. I mean, they've been dominant against Kentucky, coming off a big Mississippi State win. Kentucky coming off a Vanderbilt loss. I mean, that hurts. That's definitely not the kind of thing you want to see coming into a Georgia game. Yeah, I just don't trust this Kentucky team, especially after losing to Vandy last week. It's going to be tough for Kentucky here. Give me Georgia minus 22.5. Throw them in your huge money line parlays on the road. Then the last matchup, we got Miami versus Clemson. Clemson opening up as a 19-point home favorite with the over/under at 48. Miami coming into this matchup 5-5, 2-8 covering the spread. Clemson 9-1, 5-5 covering the spread. Head-to-head, Clemson is 5-2. Yeah, this Miami team is horrible. I mean, they are coming off a Georgia Tech win, but against the good teams, they put up 3 points against Florida State. Tough loss against North Carolina. And Clemson coming off a big Louisville win. I think big spot for Clemson, and it's at home. 10-0 at home. Clemson just doesn't lose at home here. Going to be very tough for Miami. I just don't trust the Hurricanes. I think Clemson puts it on them here. I'm taking Clemson minus 19 and throw them in your big money line parlays at home. That's going to be it for the video. Good luck with your picks and parlays on Saturday. Hope you guys all cash out, and I'll see you guys Sunday. Have a good one.